Today we are going to talk about coronavirus. And for us, we as a Christians, mankind, who is the best to tell us about coronavirus beside the Prophet of Allah, Muhammad? If you go in YouTube, you will find the Muslims in the last 2 weeks, they made thousands and thousands of videos about the Prophet speaking about the coronavirus, not corona beer. Take a note.
This must be God's punishment on the people of China and the government of China for some of the things that they have done.
إخواني، هل كورونا حقيقة؟ نعم. هل كورونا يعدي؟ نعم. هل كورونا يقتل؟ نعم. هل في ناس عندها كورونا؟ سبحان الله. أرقام إيطاليا 450 أمس ضحية، كل 8 دقائق ضحية. أرقام إيران كل 8 دقائق ضحية. أرقام الصين تأتي بعد إيطاليا 3300 ضحية. ما الذي يجري؟ سبحان الله.
This virus is a living being. It's a living creation of Allah Azza wa Jalla.
It's a living creation of Allah Azza wa Jalla.
Coronavirus sound like it's a scary virus, and the Muslims, especially in Arabic, if you search in Arabic what the Prophet Muhammad told us about coronavirus, you will not believe it. There's thousands of videos, and it is hilarious.
And we heard what the government officials have to say about it, and we heard what the doctors have to say about it. But I wouldn't know what Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam have to say about this.
Let me show you an example of what the Prophet said about the coronavirus. The Muslims, they say that the Prophet said, if a ta'un came in a land, don't go to it, and if you are there, don't leave it. And they say this is because this is amazing how he knew. If you leave it, you will spread the virus. If you go, you will get sick. How the Prophet, he knew this?
He says wherever there is a plague, no one should come out of the city. So obviously he acknowledging there is a plague there.
The Prophet said, if you get a wind of outbreak of a plague in a land, don't enter it. And if it break out in a land which you are, don't leave it. But you see, the Muslims don't tell us the truth. Muhammad, he is speaking about something totally different. The reason not to leave and the reason to stay and the reason not to go is not what the Muslim says. Let me show you the hadith from Sahih al-Bukhari. So here, that will give us a clear message from the Prophet of Allah. The wife of the Prophet asked Messenger of Allah about the plague. He told me that it was a punishment sent by Allah on whom he wished. Okay, hold on. It's what? It's a punishment. But look what Muhammad said. And Allah made it source of mercy for the believers. Like what the hell? For if one in the time of epidemic plague stay in his country patiently, hoping for Allah reward and believing that nothing will befall him except that what Allah is written for him, he will get reward as a martyr. So look what the Muslims, they lie about. They say that the Prophet, when he said that if you are in a country have a plague, don't leave, this is about health advice. But the fact Muhammad is speaking about a totally different story. He is saying to you, stay there so you will die, because this will be a mercy for you and you will be considered as a martyr. Do you see the fraud? Do you see how they lie? Secondly, how it's a penalty, yet you will be a martyr. Who is the stupid here? So do you see how they fabricate stories out of something stupid? Muhammad is saying, stay in the land. If you are in a land where they have a plague, don't leave it, not because you will spread the virus, but because Allah will kill you and that will make you a martyr. Do you see it? And this is Sahih al-Bukhari. Secondly, what is the reason for the plague? The plague, brothers and sisters, come from the genie. This is, brother, Islamic website about the genie. عالم الجن brother. الطاعون وخز أعداءكم من الجن. أخبرنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أن فناء أمته بالطعن والطاعون. The Prophet, he predict that all Muslims will die by the plague or by war. And he said, وَالطَّاعُونُ وَخْزُ أَعْدَاؤُكُم مِّنَ الْجِنِّ. And the plague is the needles of the genie, who they are your enemy. Translate to English. Man, oh man, the plague is picked by your enemy from the jinn. Messenger of Allah told us that the death of his nation, either by stabbing or by plague. Like what? I thought the plague is a punishment for the Chinese. Muhammad predicting that all of Muslims, with no exception, they will die by either stabbing or plague. Where is the reference? In the authority of Abu Musa. Who is Abu Musa? Musnad Ahmad. Who is Musnad Ahmad? We never heard of Musnad Ahmad. The stab by your enemy from the jinn. They are causing stabbing by needles, and that will cause you have a plague. And all the Muslims will die by plague. However, the story is not over yet. You will not believe it that Muhammad, he prayed to Allah, asking him to kill all the Muslims by plague. Do you believe it? You know, the Muslims, they keep praying for Christians, Jews, Hindus to be killed by plague, by etc. Go and see the videos.
When we first heard about coronavirus in China, we heard imams around the world proclaiming that coronavirus was Allah's punishment on China for China's treatment of the Uyghurs.
USA Muslims on Facebook, which has almost 1 million likes, writes, China has imprisoned more than 1 million Muslims in detention, so Allah sheds a virus that has not been discovered yet. It has isolated 4 cities with a population of more than 20 million Chinese, and you are unaware of what they're going to do. Allahu Akbar. The Judgment 24/7 page on Facebook says, China forbids face covers for Muslim women, now orders face covers for all. Everything is from Allah and He keeps perfect score. The Islamic cleric from India, Ilyas Sharafuddin, said that Allah punished the Chinese for persecuting Uyghurs by unleashing coronavirus.
But how he can explain to me the Prophet of Allah praying, hoping that Allah will kill all the Muslims by the plague? Let us see the prayer so the Muslim will not say he's making things up. This is the book of Al-Isaba لابن حجر, hadith number 9611. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم اجعل فناء أمتي قتلا في سبيلك بالطعن والطاعون. What? The Prophet praying to Allah, asking him to kill all the Muslims by either stabbing or by plague. Google translation, brother. From, he said that the messenger from, he said, he prayed to Allah that his nation will die by stabbing and plague. Now the translation is not coming really too much good. What is this? How much he loves you, man. He wants you all to die by stabbing and by the plague. What if somebody, he prayed for the Muslim to happen that to them? They will say it's a hate speech. Well, obviously, Muhammad, he hate you. Any Muslim have an objection? So, look what happened now. We discover that the Prophet, he loved the Muslims to the point he is asking Allah to kill them all by plague, claiming that plague is a mercy. Hold on. The Prophet, he said that plague will never enter the city of Al-Madinah.
I think what he's saying is, he says no plague should enter Medina.
No plague should enter Medina. No plague should enter Medina. No plague should enter Medina.
But the city of Al-Madinah have a plague many times. The Middle Eastern coronavirus first time was discovered 2012 during the Hajj, and a lot of Muslims, they die.
The holy city of Mecca, which able-bodied Muslims are called to visit at least once in their lives, and the Prophet Muhammad's mosque in Medina were cut off to potentially millions of pilgrims, with Saudi Arabia making the extraordinary decision to stop the spread of the virus.
So me and you need to understand the nature of this creation of Allah Azza wa Jal, and maybe why Allah has sent down this plague.
Once I went to Al-Madinah, where it was an outbreak of disease, and people were dying rapidly. Dying what? But isn't it Muhammad, he said, this disease will never enter the city of Al-Madinah?
Angels are standing guard on the roads leading to Medina, so that no plague can enter the city.
No plague should enter Medina.
How this guy, he said this? Few years after his death, the city of Al-Madinah was flushed
Jabir reported Allah's messenger as saying, there is no transitive disease, no ill omen, no ghul. Sahih Muslim 55:21. Abu Huraira reported Allah's messenger as saying, there is no transitive disease, no divination, but I like good words. Not to mention 9-year-old girls.
Take the hadith that Muhammad said, there is no such thing as a contagious disease, and then bring it to coronavirus.
Where is it? Okay, show me that. Show me the hadith.
Are you ready? Sahih Muslim. Abdullah bin Umar reported Allah's messenger as saying, there is no transitive disease, no ill omen, and bad luck is found in the house or wife or horse.
No transitive disease, no ill omen, and bad luck is found in the house or wife or horse.
Oh no!
Thank you guys for being here. Christ is Lord. And this is how we do it. Take care.
Hey there. I saw you using that public ATM and then sticking your finger in your mouth. I see you like to take risks. What's your name? Niti. Humanity. What's yours? Coronavirus. Oh no. Come on, girl. Why don't you take off that face mask so we can get infectious?